So I just had fashion sketch group today, and because body language is running, I thought I'd share some of what happened in sketch group today. Sketch group is also open for weekly drawing sessions. But what I started with today was it was dreary and rainy outside, so I took a yellow paint to lift my spirits, and we did 3-minute poses to warm up. And so, hi Laura. It started with just like a round pointed size 8 watercolor brush on sketch paper. Hi David, oh Davi. And these were the first poses I had, 85 and sunny. Laura, I just got back from Brazil, and that sounds just like Olinda where I was, and that's why I'm using yellow paint. I'm trying to get back. So first I started over here with just paint, and then I started adding pencil to get more like details. Davi, espero que você esteja tocando muita música. Voltei do Brasil agora. Eu fui pro carnaval em Olinda. Here I also started with the yellow, and then I added on pencil. I love that pose. I think that's one of my favorite ones of the day. This is another one. This is another. I think these were still 3-minute poses. So we do that to warm up. And then we started playing with an exercise, which is always optional in sketch group. But the idea was to just do a few shapes. So the idea was to draw just maybe 3 shapes. This one, I can't remember the order. Like this was 3 shapes. It was like taking whatever you see and just breaking it down into a few basic shapes. There was this one. Bye, Laura. Take care. I miss you. This was, I think we were working our way up to 5 shapes and 7 shapes. I think this was 5. I ended up doing more, but the goal was 5. Having just a few shapes helps you like not hyper, but like focus and see what comes out when you have to pare it down into like pure design, right? Because the shapes kind of design the page. Then we start taking, we start getting into longer poses. I still can't remember the order now, if this is the right order from class, but we worked our way up to 5-minute poses, then 7, and then 10s. We didn't go over 10 today. So this one, I loved all the movement, the cargo pockets, the shape of the bag, shape of her hair. So it was a mix of line with shape. But I added all the colors after the drawing. And then this one, I added red to my yellow paint because the model was wearing orange. I am getting like a foreshortening here. And it was fun to play with the line. Oh, thank you, Gabriela. This one. I love that bag. Yeah, this picture was all about the bag. It almost looks like a crescent moon or something. This outfit was all like charmeuse, maybe. It had shoulder pads, very satiny. And I just did it all with it was a line drawing at first with the round pointed brush tip and gouache. And then right at the end, I added in some of the shadows. And this is just a sketch paper, but look at the beautiful texture that it gives the gouache. I used gouache from a tube. And then I was saying to my classmates that this paper that I was using is really long and skinny. I don't know if you could see that. But because it's long and skinny, it influences the way I draw my women. They turn out long and skinny, which is not my goal. I like my women to be more like realistic. And that's why this particular one, you could see I used the paper horizontally and got a much more dynamic pose. If you use long, skinny paper, I've seen teachers who recommend using like 11 by 17 paper. I never recommend that because it tends to stretch out and narrowize I know that's not a word, your models. And so because that was happening again, I went over to my marker paper which I also complained is, a lot more expensive. But it's 14 by 17. And because it's wider, I'm less likely to distort the figure. So here I used like a Copic marker, but Blix brand in a very soft skin tone. And actually, this was a gorgeous color blocked image, but I'm glad that I didn't end up to it. It was orange and blue, because if I did, I would have lost to these gorgeous shapes. And one of the things I talked about with my students today also as an exercise to play with is the exercise of using only straight lines, reducing everything to a straight line or angle. And then I mentioned it and then I forgot to do it. But when I look back at this one, I realized this is mostly, oh, I'm sorry. I may have accidentally invited someone to the, that was an accident if I did. I might have just tapped the screen. But this is, if you think about it, these are all straight lines, actually, which is interesting. And then I was thinking if I did want to play with the color, I could always take a new sheet and put it over. That's another nice thing about marker paper is that it's so sheer. Hi, BW Junkie. See that? If I wanted to experiment with the same drawing using color, I could. Hey, no problem. No problem, Gabriella. That was totally, I think I might have hit the screen with my finger or something. And so if you look at this one too, I realized that this is also all straight lines, really, if you think about it. And I was telling the people in sketch group today that I had a teacher who really drilled that into us at one point. And it wasn't even a model drawing class. We were drawing a lot of like furniture and objects. But that skill and that tool of being able to reduce things to straight lines, of course, the human figure, nothing about it is actually straight, right? We're like cylindrical and spherical in every direction. But playing with the tool of reducing things into straight lines and angles can be super useful and fun because it gives you a way to be very accurate about things. Like you can take a curve and turn it into 10 straight lines or 3 straight lines, but every line relates to a pure vertical or a pure horizontal. So using that tool can really help you be accurate with your drawing because a pure vertical and a pure horizontal are always available to you in space. They're often parallel to the side of the paper or the top of the paper, or when you're looking at something, the edge of the screen, the edge of the page, the edge of the wall. Your pure verticals and horizontals help you gauge every other angle in a very specific way. So I do love having that tool. I, at the same time, always wonder what it would be like, how I would draw if I had never had people giving me tools. Sometimes I just yearn for that freedom. But that's why with my music, I don't take classes. But with drawing, I went to a school, so there's a lot of details that are kind of built into me. Here we have like a classic jean construction, but then the skirt is almost like a classic shirt collar layered over it. That was a really fun one to draw with the pink wig and everything else. I especially loved this pose because of the winding energy, major S curve. And again, because I had my wider marker paper, I was able to capture the width of the pose without turning it into something long and skinny. And then the last one I did was again with the marker that's very pale, and then just slowly building it up and building it up. This one reminded me of my recent trip to Brazil. She's just wearing a bathing suit top with her pants. And part of what's happening here that you've seen today is that none of it was planned, Everything was 3 to 10 minutes. And I have all my supplies around me, but in the moments, I can just play with what comes up and be open to that. And let me tell you, when you do that every week for a year or for a few months, wow, what a beautiful appointment to have with yourself, to just be available and present to your creativity, to have the openness to allow what comes through to come through. And when you know you're going to be drawing all the time, you let go of a lot of the pressure and tension, because you know there's always going to be more. And then you can be comfortable and happy to toss something or keep it, toss it or keep it. And the repetitive experience also starts to show you that you will often appreciate something you did more later than you did at the time. And you start to realize that even if you do 10 drawings you don't like, you'll be amazed how many drawings you find that you do like, and why you like them, why you don't. And freeing your drawing up to have like a different purpose when it doesn't always have pressure on it. You know, it's playful, it's fun, it's a state that you go into. It's a meditation, it's a focus. I find that when I do poses like this, I feel this in my body. I feel like a freedom and a joy and like an opening of the heart. You know, it's very therapeutic to me to do these sessions and to have my drawing and dance practice be a part of my everyday life. So I invite you for body language. It's going to be more foundational, starting from the beginning. And we start March 8th. I would love to have you in the group. It's going to be like a group coaching. So we'll have 5 live sessions, but then we'll have like a private course area throughout the whole time. So you can ask things during the week. You can ask for tips and questions and talk about what comes up and what you need help with, or what was you successful. There's something so beautiful in being witnessed and being supported. And I'm excited to do that with a new batch of students. We do it on Zoom. You'll have the replays for life, and there'll be live Q&A during the sessions. You really only need like a soft pencil, a pack of oil pastels, a 14 by 17, preferably sketch pad, and then maybe like a tube of black gouache with a round pointed brush, size 8 or 10, or maybe a gouache box. This is Pelican's gouache box. This is the soft graphite. This is 6B. You can have 6, 7, 8, 9B, but it's woodless. And we use that because it's so soft and sensitive. And then also because when you use the side of it, there's no wood, you can get large shapes of color or tone and not only lines. Right? So the body language will be very much about expression of the body, but also expression through our art supplies, changing the way we look at line and shape, and being more open and abstract and free in our own expression. Like, where do we not feel free and why? And then like, how can we bring that freedom back and realize that we are the owners of our page and our voice, and that we can kind of like get friendly with the parts of ourselves that we were afraid of in our drawing, and then come through on the other side with our own voice and our own pleasure in creating our art, which so many of us early on get kind of squashed out of with teachers or cultural myths around creation of art and design. And also, if you're specifically in fashion, you know, I train a lot of professional designers, that we don't have to exaggerate or distort the figure to create beautiful stories about people in clothing, which is what fashion is. It's culture. It's for me, it's about celebration and fun and expression and joy of celebrating people and being people. You know, I like to feel myself in the models that I sketch. I like to have them be part of me and not totally separate from me. That's why I like to keep the bodies. I like to bring my own body into the one I'm sketching. So I'm not, so she's real and relatable to me and not something untouchable or unattainable. Anyways, it means something different for everyone. And I think that when you come to your creativity, you get the right to let it serve the purpose that you have for it. We all bring something different to it. And in body language, you'll get skills, you get to try new tools, have new experiences, and become more clear with yourself about what the role of your creativity and art plays in your life, which is a beautiful conversation to have with yourself. And I look forward to having that conversation with you. So we start March 8th for body language. The link is in the bio or around this video. And also, if you subscribe at fashionillustrationtribe.com, there's a whole bunch of goodies you can get started with right away to be creative with figure drawing and fashion art. All right. Thanks for being with me. Have a great day. Bye. Wait, how does that?